হ্যালো আসসালামু আলাইকুম ভাই ব্রাদার, কেমন আছেন সবাই? সো একটু ওয়েট করেন, পিএমজিসি লাইভ স্ক্রিন ওয়াচ পার ওয়েট গাইস, টুডে ম্যাচ আপনারা কি মনে করতেছেন আজকে কে জিতবে? পিএমজিসি? আমি তো সাপোর্ট করতেছি আইএসএন হচ্ছে গোটের স্টার ওয়ার্ড। Oh my god. Okay, আমরা এটাতেই দেখি।
Wrap the Brazil region. Maybe let's quickly touch on A7. That was one of your favourite 7. They had only a single game in this tournament, but they did not get a single frag. Only one game. You expect that to continue?
No, I think the team is definitely aware of the issues that they need to fix. I got a chance to talk about to them, and they were very confident. Actually, impressively confident. Their mood was actually very high too, because this is a team that we've been mentioning over and over again. They go momentum very, very much. I feel like it can come down to the first game. If they have a great first game, then Alpha 7 might have a chance to actually get in this win and being able to be the global champions. Yeah. But if they don't start off hot, I don't think it's going to happen. I think it will probably end up at the top.
I mean, if you purely look at the odds of the trophy goes to Brazil, they're pretty high.
Yeah,
but Bingo in first, you've got Alpha 7 in third. It's looking pretty good. Though, I do want to bring a little bit of an underlying team that we haven't really talked about too much. It is DRS. We keep talking about these massive teams all the time. You're talking about your Inco, S2G, Alpha 7, Nova. But DRS, they're chilling in 4th position. And if they strike hard today, we might see a Nepali team become the world champion.
Max, and they do have 2 wins in Erangel. And
that's big.
We do play Erangel 3 times today. So if there was ever a time for them to win, it will be today.
If the Nepal Definitely Regen can prevail. We will see in game number 1 of the PMGC Grand Final, day 3.
Okay, আজকে হচ্ছে day 3 দেখেন ভাই huge crowd আজকে
Thank you so much. We are into that final stretch. So are the teams. We are absolutely ready for it. Only time will tell what is going to happen because it is still all to play for.
It is still all to play for. There's so much on the line right now. Huge amount of prize pool, huge amount of prize money, huge amount of glory to be found during today as well. Day 3, 6 more matches. That's it, done, finished, and that will be the 2022 book to a close. And I'm very, very excited to see exactly how that last chapter does finish and what it sets us on for next year. Because if it is the 3P coming through from Nova, once again, teams will be looking to dethrone that king right at the top next year in Turkey. Or will we have ourselves a new PMGC Grand Champion looking to defend next year? I think that one of the crazy things is that right now, with the way S2G is currently playing, and you keep saying this, John, is that they could certainly be the winners, and it could be a home ground team defending over in Turkey.
It would be amazing to see. It would be quite the story as well to see
S2G Esports
S2G can keep that momentum going throughout the year as well. Because that's going to be an important factor moving out of this tournament. We've got to think about that later, Blank, because right now they've got to win it first if they want to be defending champions. Plenty of other teams, though, wanting to challenge for that title. You talked about defending champions Nova. Sure, they've had that rise from 10th to 5th
অনেক ভালো করতেছিল ওরা আজকে মানে কামব্যাক দিবে নোভার মতো একটা টিম যদি কামব্যাক না দিতে পারে তাহলে কি রকম হবে অবশ্যই নোভা কামব্যাক দিবে আর হচ্ছে আমার যদি আমি পার্সোনাল লেভেল বলি আমি আইএসসি স্পোর্টসের অনেক আগে থেকে অনেক ফলো করি ওদের ভিউজ যখন অনেক ভালো খেলতেছিল আজকে দেখা যাক আপনাদের প্রেডিকশন কমেন্টে জানাবেন আর ফার্স্ট ম্যাচের আমার এই অ্যাঙ্গেলের পার্সোনাল প্রেডিকশন হচ্ছে আইএসসি সো দেখা যাক কি হয়
Playing path down from Sosnovka all the way to the western side of Gatka here.
guys, আজকে যারা যারা সাপোর্ট করবেন অবশ্যই সাপোর্ট করে দিয়েন সাবস্ক্রাইব বেল আইকন টিপ দিয়ে দিয়ে
Going to be a little bit of conflict potentially over towards Novo, a hot drop, and 2 more teams, 3 teams actually dropping out over Sosnovka, but they're all heading north, so likely going to see them over on that main island. Nobody going for C-block at the moment, not that I can see anyway, which is fairly interesting, I'd say, with the playing path as it is. Still time to turn around if they want to go. And you look at that, Alpha 7, they did drop out in the same position as Godlike Stalwart, but they are going to go all the way over the water towards Milter Power.
Yeah, I mean, some music is now.
For Alpha 7 as a backup. Other than that was North George also an availability for Alpha 7, been dropping there majority of the time throughout this tournament. But Milter Power, Milter, very standard drop spot for Alpha 7 during this match. I don't think anyone's going to cause them too many problems on this side.
I am really surprised though that nobody dropped on C block or even on the western sides of that island.
Yes,
they're going to have to head north, and not only because of the plane path now, they will go up with the circle. Another northern Erangel. I think for most people they realise that honestly going down towards Sosnovka military base from C block with this type of meta, this type of lobby where they're all going highly central. That's Inco though getting dropped upon by S2G. They lose a couple there. That's one already down. Vitali sends away. Takes a fair bit of damage on the way out. That's Inco already losing one player. This could be a little bit tricky for them now. Want to take that central position early on, play with 4, but now playing with 3. This will cut their chances a little bit. With losing Nenebete as well. That's really not the ideal candidate. Hang on a minute. Put it out there as well. Inco, they are getting chased down right now. S2G with the elimination point that they were able to get. They're now 1 point behind Inco at the top of the table. Maybe looking to pursue a little bit more with only 2 players alive for Inco. You've got to think that that central strategy of theirs is looking pretty shaky.
Yeah, this is not ideal for Inco, honestly, especially with that playing path. It does not give them a lot of time to get set up and going. Inco is a team that tends to do very, very well towards that end game, honestly, John, and that's where they find their big rewards. And you can also get yourself some big rewards in 2022 PMGC Special Crate, only available till the end of today, January 8th. So make sure you get hands on that whilst you still can.
4 Angry Men just picking each other up and moving forwards. Look at this early moves. Generally, what you will see from Inco this time around, though, they are cut down in half entirely. Took a lot of damage early. There's no meds on Squash. So they still have yet to go for this loot. A lot of teams have made their way up north fast. One of those teams, 4 Angry Men, will be across that river in North George 2-2 right now. All still alive. T2K also moving to that north of the river. IHC, South George occupation.
Yeah, T2K can head towards Box Compound, perhaps hold there for a little longer before heading up towards the Verni side. 4 AM picking up their usual drop spot in North George, so they know that they should be clear, they should be clean. We'll drop out and get towards that position early. Inco's headed up towards Rozok. Imagine that they'll loot up quickly and then head a bit further upwards. But I think right now with Severny, very limited amount of places you can play in Severny and that area around it. This is going to be requiring to have 4 members, 3 members alive to fix up the priority positions. I think this might be a bit of a write-off for Inco at the start of the day. However, it does lead us into a lot of that big storyline. Sends an absolute deadly spray his way.
And only bandages on board for Jane, which means that this fight is looking pretty shaky for the T2K Alphas. In through the window! You only need 1 HP to be able to lob those nades through, and that's going to be a flush. Frozen, eliminated by T2K.
For Nova, that is such an unfortunate result. Like you said, Jane being on practically no HP there, perfectly lobs that grenade through the window. Will take down Frozen. Now Nova starting the day where they wanted to have that comeback, where they want to have that domination on day 3, to send them towards that upper side and really be in the fight for those number 1 and 2nd spots. Realistically, they want the trophy once again. Right now, it's S2G and Inco usually pulling ahead. With Inco losing 2, it might just be S2G creating an even bigger buffer between them and the rest of the teams in this lobby.
Alter Ego. They have absolutely spurred the crowd. The hysteria sometimes, especially with their chicken dinner yesterday. But they do still have their work cut out for them.
যেই কোনো পজিশনে যাওয়া সম্ভব 15 থেকে জাস্ট একটা পজিশন ভ্যাম্পায়ার একটু পিছিয়ে গেছে হচ্ছে অনেক পয়েন্ট ডিফারেন্স আছে তাছাড়া মনে করে হচ্ছে 15 থেকে একবারে ওয়ান পজিশন যাওয়া কোনো ইয়ে না যদি ভালো খেলে একটু 2-3টা ম্যাচ ভালো খেলে কোন একটা টিম ধরেন সাপোজ ফায়ারফ্লক্স যদি এখন 2টা চিকেন মেরে দেয় তাহলে চিন্তা করেন 2টা পয়েন্টে 30 যদি কিল থাকে এরকম অনেক গ্যাপ কমে যাবে
And again, this is PMGC. This is the hardest PMGC we've had in basically forever. So for Alter Ego to continue performing like this, it's really good to see. I don't think there's a single team here that has underperformed massively. Maybe VPE, you could say, currently at 45 points, but there is 6 more matches still to go. Maybe they can change things.
Nova at the top of Everest. After getting backed off the position in the compound across the river by T2K. With a sneaky little nade. Godlike Stalwart moving on the southeast side as IHC and Fireflux in the crates near Georgia Pole. Looking to lay claim. I think Fireflux, yeah, they have just been trying to move in on that west coast. And Solke gets spotted. IHC wants to close the jaws of this. Moving 2 players up to the warehouse. Solke into the vehicle as well. Looks to hop out as they will have heard that one. The engine did switch on and 2 players going straight on in. Solke with a challenge now. Half HP. Going to be tricky to make it work. UMP forwards. A lot of damage sent in, but Solke's being flushed out. Goes for the challenge and it is IHC to take him down. Solke falls and the rest of Fireflux divert attention. They flee. Go back south.
Very nice stuff there coming through from IHC. Well, let's get themselves few, or at least 1 point, right? That 1 elimination, but it gives them a nice little platform to play from going forward. Order. 15 eliminations, difficult not to go for him. Uri did have 49 though, so you got to a little bit behind Order. Kind of too good, let's be honest.
ভাই 2 নাম্বার সার্কেলটা আস্তে আস্তে যে কি হয় ভাই পুরো লবিটা আউলা যায় ভাই ফাইটের ও ভাই নেক্সট লেভেলের ফাইট হয় এখানে পরে আস্তে আস্তে রিল্যাক্সে খেলে টিমগুলো 2 নাম্বার সার্কেলটা সবচেয়ে ডিফিকাল্ট সার্কেল এখন
Svan, the legacy player from this roster, keeping them in and leading from the front, really. I feel this is a roster that has had quite a lot of power with it.
Yeah, WWX has been doing a very, very good job.
Party as
well for the team. Been putting in a lot of work. I don't think there's really anyone on there that
Tournament,
hasn't pulled their
PMGC
weight.
Grand Finals.
Exactly what the organization wanted. Yes, Svan is great at leading that team, and he certainly does look like he has a ton of experience on board. But I think they have created this core now, which is quite strong, and it's certainly something that will carry 4AM to even greater heights coming towards that future. They're not that far behind some of these big teams. Well, stop. I think it was 93 points they started on today, which is fantastic. That still gives you a good running. 30 points behind the front runners. That's just one big chicken dinner. And right now, with where they're currently sat, they maintain a lot of the control over towards that northwestern side of the circle. And a lot of times, 4AM really struggles when they lose players early on. They're not able to get themselves set up. They can't play their splits. They've been given enough time now, I'd say, that they can set themselves up for a very strong late game without losing players at this current moment. Means that I think this could be a good 4AM game.
Influence came in as well, shimmying around.
Influence came in
on that northern side.
Alpha 7
just a little bit to their west right now. Influence came in the lowest scoring Brazilian team, but in 8th place with 91 points. Still in that contest, which is saying something. 3 Brazilian teams here in the finals. We've got 3 Chinese teams, but those nationalities are the highest represented in this stage. So the fact that all 3 of those Brazilian teams have over 90 points is really quite saying something.
I think if you're a Brazilian fan, you should absolutely be proud of your country. They've really fielded not only one team, but 2 teams, but 12 separate players, all right now here in the PMGC. Every single one of them of insanely caliber. It's very difficult to find that in any one country or region, just in the sense of like, even if you're able to cherry pick, being able to have that core, that synergy as well, and all these players work together, this is a very rare occurrence. You do not see very, very often. I think it's wonderful to see as well. Just America's in general having this standout region for themselves, standout country, bringing this kind of presence, this kind of pressure to every other team in this lobby. We've had a real turn of good events here at the PMGC. And over this last year, PUBG Mobile, a lot of successes. And right now, I think that PUBG Mobile is only going to get harder in terms of skill and what you're going to have to bring to the table. But I think we're only getting better talent coming through to the scene. We'll see some more familiar faces going towards the future.
I feel like that is the story that we've seen over the course of this year, is the leveling up of every single region. I think there is not one that doesn't have some sort of massive improvement that we've seen over the course of this year, which is absolutely phenomenal, and it makes me really, really excited, especially for, I mean, what is next year's final going to look like over in Turkey?
100%. I think that the way you look at it, it's like, it feels very much like the PUBG Mobile team is trying to bring us more in line with the Chinese type of esports, PUBG, for instance. You know, we're getting similar points in terms of their point system. It's not exactly the same. I think they have some slightly different rules when it comes to eliminations. We've got different circle changes now, making the game much more fair. I think overall, you know, not only is everyone leveling up to the level of China, but now whilst we're having our scene becoming much more similar to theirs, I think we're going to see a whole new game coming to the next year. And it's just these little changes that are completely changing the dynamic of the game. And it's very fun to see. And you can tell the PUBG Mobile team is working really hard in the background to make sure everyone at home, everyone during the tournaments, everyone who's competing in the tournaments is getting the best game to compete in. So I'm proud to be part of this community, man.
Well said. An admirable sentiment, and one that I firmly agree with. The circle coming back into this game, blank. It went hard northwest. This is a hard shift up to the north side, but it's probably one of the better circles for this current split. Isolating and leaving that river means that teams won't have to make that 50-50 coin flip. Instead, they'll look to play these set pieces around the river crossings. But Wolves going to look to hold that on the south.
Absolutely. I think that when you look at this as well, one team in particular catches my attention is Alpha 7. Not an easy push, not an easy rotation for them coming up from mill to power to suddenly being towards the center of the circle here, shooting range. But S2G currently taking a lot of casualties here versus Wolves. Just one player remaining and it's over as well off the distance. Taking some pot shots. One player that might get them back on their feet, but there is an enemy team in the background. It's Stalwart coming through and Hamzy G just sent for the water. Swim this one out.
Paraboy with plenty of support of his own in this arena here in Jakarta.
Nice pick.
Going to be taking shots actually over towards everyone. Like Stalwart also third partying in. Beautiful wants to confirm these flushes. 2 players active for the Wolves. And he moves up on the ridgeline. Hamzy G is beneath him. Needs to be careful, but there does seem to be some backup there. Calceep, Silas, both going to be flushed out. Now they can turn their attention to the reses, unless Hamzy G has something to say about it. Floating around near the boat. Remember, spots it. There's no way Hamzy gets up here.
Goodness me, the top 2 teams look like they come out of the ring from without Muhammad Ali, because honestly they look back at this stage of the game. I think that you're looking at this, and this is a great opportunity for teams that need them 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th there even, down to 7th. They could jump up now. This is a great opportunity. The fact that Inco, as well as S2G, aren't really going to profit very much from this game if they don't get their players in towards that end game in the first place. This is a very, very wild start to our day 3, where absolutely no one's safe once again.
The southwest side being overseen by 4 angry men. We talked about how strong their position was for quite a while, actually, and now Vampire are finding out just what a difficult position it will be. The circle gives 4 angry men as well some legs into the next phase. On the south side of it, that cut does keep them in, but Vampire going to have to push further north.
Yes, I think the
position is actually incredibly good. Really with where they're playing, they have a massive amount of high ground looking down towards the players underneath. Ingo's making a swift rotation on that northern side. In the meantime, GODLIKE Stalwart still taking some good shots. Memory pumps them down below. That's Hamzy G going down too, so S2G out now.
Second place team eliminated on 124 points now after the game. Once you add that elimination point in, Inco might actually have, with a duo, an opportunity to open up a 7-8 point lead if they're lucky. See how much further they can go. GODLIKE Stalwart not stopping with just the 1 team. They want to try and take a second as well. They want to ruin the day of Wolves. Seemed like they were somewhat back on form coming into yesterday.
Looked a bit better. I think that was just a case of being able to figure out the lobby. Again, one of the invited teams. They didn't get to play with these circle settings for our group stage. I think for Alter Ego, again, still very admirable for this team to be where they currently are, considering they didn't get a lot of practice during that group stage against a lot of these teams and the new circle settings. It's a lot to come into, a lot to figure out on the fly. Wolves now going down. Inco moved across that northern side, like I said before, a bit of a dangerous push, but they made it happen. Unfortunately, Influence came in the wings on that northwest side. That will be a problem for them later. 4 AM though, Spot Nova coming towards them, already find 1, and I think it might be lights out for Nova at this rate.
Nova with just order now to keep them alive. Repositions, maybe looking for the res over onto Paraboy. Will not be the easiest, but no, they aren't actually going to try and make that one happen. Probably wise. Only 1 first aid available for order in the meantime. Catch from Fireflux. 3 of those players alive as well, as GODLIKE Stalwart rocks straight on up into T2K. Scry has gone down, but they sent Rig on kneeling as well. Pika on the inside of the shack finds a player, gets the knock. And GODLIKE Stalwart turning up the heat. Maxman with the jersey.
I mean, you can only curse him for so long, right? It's got to cancel out at some point during this day, and it feels like it's right now. 6 eliminations. Good stuff. Alter Ego on the prowl, though, from afar. Shots coming through. Stalwart taking a heavy amount of punishment. Should be able to get some reses off, some meds through. Vampire Esports also looking towards his position. Mini 14.
Not quite able to spot what they needed there for Fluke. Smokes to allow them forwards though, could sneak a couple nades into the shack. And they swing down low. Ravenclaw leads that charge. Alter Ego won't be able to spot that, but their shots still pouring on in from GODLIKE Stalwart. They've lost action, so they are at 3. 6 eliminations, and they are caught in the midst of it. A nade forwards from Ravenclaw, and a knock over onto Scry. Pika Half HP has to move out the back there. Top wanting to try and play anchor. Nova eliminated in the meantime. Central position. Fluke spotted. And Alter Ego starting to light up here. Ravenclaw wants another nade over the top, but taken very, very low. Has to run with the blue zone at his back now.
Ooh.
An uncomfortable scenario, but Stoned has it with the
That's 4am.
support coming on in. Stoned moves up around the edge, but the Vampire's not going to stand too much longer there. 13th place and only 2 eliminations.
I wonder if 4am has speed onto this. I mean, this is uphill, so a little bit more of a tough angle to take shots at towards. Vampire Esports, what a rough time of it though. Running through all this, trying to take shots at the team from Stalwart, also taking shots from Alter Ego, sending them back, and Alter Ego's very happy to send this one away. But that's Sky Only running down one of Influence Kevin's players. Inco down to 1, they cut their losses, sent one of their players up towards the northwest side, and Vitali over towards the center. Right now, I will be earning 1 point just in terms of ranking from a 12th place. See how long Vitali can go for. Any kind of points he can get at this point is useful to them.
DRS. You call them a very effective edge-playing team.
Yeah.
Probably one of the best in the lobby. They'll be playing from that north side. They were suppressing Alpha Ego's movements on the south side. As 400 rack up their 5th elimination of this game so far. They're going to hound on the heels of DRS.
Absolutely. I mean, DRS is sneaky, like the assassins of the lobby. It's really fun to watch them play, honestly, because like I said, they are probably one of the best edge teams in the lobby. It's not easy to play edge. I think Fireflux has certainly suffered because of those reasonings. This lobby just doesn't take to it. But on this northeastern side, and on the east side in general, DRS has found themselves a really, really strong position to play it from. The moment they're cutting down Alter Ego. Crunch between the vehicles, won't go down though, he's been sent all over the place.
Pops out for a trade, and Alter Ego rolled up on by DRS. A presence to be felt and feared. 5 eliminations now on the game for DRS as they take that northeastern side. Very, very close by to Alpha 7 on the overall standings as Influence came in look to try and close that gap as well. Law moving in against Buradam. Sky Only fades out in the background. Tiger, last stand for the squad. Swings out an excellent duck shot there. But unfortunately, across the way, it's Alpha 7.
Alpha 7 taking down. Influence came in, well, Buradam saving the lives of their Brazilian brethren. Really good stuff there. But that season with 3 eliminations now, 4am, not quite done yet. Losing 1 player is a little bit problematic. Geek Fam down towards their western side. Fireflux ahead. IHC looking to sweep on that northern side up towards Influence came in, but A7's got this real crazy lineup over on the northeastern side. Feels like they've found their footing, found their rhythm just a little bit. That's Geek Fam going down. 4am take themselves up to a hefty 8 elimination count. Sitting steady now with Stalwart, also on 8 eliminations.
Influence came in moving on through. I say Influence came in, it's only Federal now. Sneaking past IHC and their edge guard on the northern side, Alpha 7 as well. Widespread on that northeast side, spotting IHC with Mafioso. Ziol gets away from the spray as the reload forced. Demo tucks it back behind the headland as well, and Alpha 7 not really going to find too much value other than suppressing IHC from swinging out on the north.
4am, unfortunately, lost 1 player, but they do get the circle now. There's a very good chance for them. I think for 4am, if they get a massive game at the start of the day here, it'll see them in a position where they can fight out for that first place spot. Inco, though, still alive with Vitali. So good at just remaining in these games. More shots coming through for 4am's sake. This up to a 9 elimination game. Set themselves now over 100 points total.
IHC pushing in from the north. Corralled by Alpha 7 somewhat, and directly into the lines of fire with 4 angry men, who have been a massive force. As you'd said, 9 eliminations so far in the game, but they will hold their line. The hillside has been their sanctuary for so long.
It's a really difficult position to push upon. It's quite difficult to hold, though, as 3. When you have 4 players, it is infinitely easy just to keep players off that position. But WWX has to hold the southern side all by himself. With Stalwart, DRS wanted to swing in on that side. He'd have to hold it basically a solo gunman, because as soon as he goes down, they must weaken that northern side, which is another really good point to just crash upon. So it's going to be difficult for him. It will have to be perfect play here onwards for them. They want to hold this position, have a really dominant game going forward. The East side has to clear itself up first. A7, DRS, T2K all still going.
Nade from Legend! Gets value on that one. 2 knocks found. The DRS cut in half for the moment. Legend looks to burn them away with that Molotov as well. Rules at Delta, they're not moving. Are they just going to give this one up? It seems like they might. Killer, very, very tricky to get him back up, but that is massive. A solo player from T2K could have just changed the tide of the northeast side of this fight. Alpha 7 now with so much more room, and they've already started to take care of IHC on their western edge.
Yeah, IHC getting absolutely blasted apart at the moment. Alpha 7 really has just rocked this entire lobby's lives. It's the sound of resounding grenades, shrapnel all over the place, with Alpha 7's signature all over it. 4AM though, again, still hesitant to move. Pretty sure the circle's going to come down towards him. Not really much point in being too aggressive at this point, especially with 9 eliminations. You know, finishing this game out with second or a first place, ideally, would be perfect for them.
Legend spotted. Rules with a little bit of retribution, and they will be able to res for a third player on the DRS roster, but that leaves Alpha 7 at the advantage. Enko still alive, by the way, in this engagement.
I mean, this is just typical Enko, honestly. I think that they're just able to slip past the defenses and senses of a lot of these teams. And he's even taking knocks over down towards Pika, leaving top as the final player. Vitaly will finish off Pika with the help of 4AM. And now top might be looking up that way, up to a 6th place finish if Vitaly went down now. For 4AM, this is a really good circle. The fact that isolates WWX's position on that south side means there's less position to have to take care of on this hillside, which means they can consolidate their forces a little bit more. They do need to wait for that to happen though. It will be a little time, but with IHC and Alpha 7 in a chokehold, in a lock, which Alpha 7 is going to want to break right now, this could be difficult.
A double roll up, close range, up and personals, the old falls of them. Mafioso shots from the heavens as well, take them out, but Mythic gets knocked and flushed as 4AM pinch another one away. Revo gets the heal off Mythic. Down and out.
Honestly, such a good play from Alpha 7. Similarly, such a good play from 4AM, being able to take that point and flush. That means the team's down to 3. Their main advantage coming into this last circle, the fact that they were at 4 players total. Really, really well played. Look at the sniper lineup on 4AM as well. AWM available, Car 98K, a Mini 14. They have the long range advantage. They can just get involved in all these fights. Vitaly though, 2 for 2, over on top of Stalwart. And that'll be them laddering up to a 4th place at least.
Guaranteed 4th place. Points starting to rack up for Vitaly. With their main competition going down early as well, it's going to be tricky. Here comes the roll-up for Alpha 7, 4 Angry Men. They do have a lot of snipers, but they've got a lot of firepower in those close-range fights too. Just Revo as the backline has been isolated. Revo moves forwards, a third of his HP, and that's swiftly snuffed out. 4 Angry Men are dominant here in the open fields. 4 Angry Men with more to do though against Vitaly and DRS.
I mean, I was saying from day 2 that the way 4AM was playing on day 1, I felt like it was in the back pocket for them. Vitaly steps out for just a second. WWX with the M4 just sends the bullets in. That'll be Inko down, up to 15 eliminations now. AWM still in pocket. DRS, I still think that this is a team can challenge versus 4AM. Circle will definitely be a big factor in this last engagement.
This is massive for 4AM, not only because of the difference that they have in points to the top of the tables, but also to stop DRS as well, who are a team ahead of them. If 4 Angry Men can convert here, it's huge.
30 points is what we were asking for. Right now, 15 eliminations, a potential 3 more. 33 points total would be huge. WWX brings out the big boy. The AWM looks over towards that direction. Unfortunately, with DRS, with the circle at their back, they will have to move forward. So a knock at this point of the game, this stage of the game, it's not going to be too influential. Jingchen picks himself up a vehicle. They know they'll need cover going into this last fight. Through the smoke. This is so smart from 4AM. They really are setting up this end game very well. And they're already inside the next circle, which was their biggest problem, John.
Two players move forward, and now Jingchen is given that platform to move in. The movement from 4AM is disciplined now. Svan, WWX, Jingchen on a wide split. Svan repositioning now, wants to get a little bit tighter on in, and that puts all of them in the next circle.
This smoke usage is disgusting. And honestly, at this point in time, I think 4AM's kind of played the winning move, right? This is almost checkmate. With them in such a defensive area, and DRS now forced to walk down the hill, coming into zone 9. That's a great refrag, a great re-knock onto Jingchen. Now in a 1v2, it's going to be difficult for him to pick them back up again. Svan has to put the hurt down over toward DRS. That's going to require a first aid kit, but he finds another. Down to 1 in just Giante. Svan's taking this all home by himself.
15 eliminations so far. They want to rack up 18 blank. It would be a monumental 33-point game for them. And Delta is going to go down. A 16th point on the elimination card for them now this game, and Jingchen is rezzed. WWX has the nade, launching it on forwards. Behind the tree it goes long, and Redox rules. Gianti now, the last on the menu, and 4AM are hungry. They want to take it here, they want to take it now, and the top of the tables is not safe.
A disgusting game coming through from 4AM. It's only a matter of time. Not losing members early on seems to be the key for them, but they got themselves into a perfect spot. A long run for them with that play path up towards North George. Played it perfectly out to the edge. What a way to set this one up, John. Lovely to see.
We said today anything.
That is what they wanted right at the beginning of the day. The chase is on for them. And again, like you said, take down DRS there, not allowing them to get a huge amount of points off the back of the chicken dinner means that it's another team that might have been ahead of them. For them. And again, like you said, take down DRS there, not allowing them to get a huge amount of points off the back of the chicken dinner means that it's another team that might have been ahead of them. For them. And again, like you said, take down DRS there, not allowing them to get a huge amount of points off the back of the chicken dinner means that it's another team that might have been ahead of them. For them. And again, like you said, take down DRS there, not allowing them to get a huge amount of points off the back of the chicken dinner means that it's another team that into these fights, getting involved just a little bit, maybe as an afterthought sometimes, maybe as just one knock, one elimination here and there. That was more than enough that by the time they got to that end game, you know, Alpha 7 taking that one elimination away from them, sitting them down to just 3 players, meant as soon as Svan found that backstop player, they had no one to res him. They had no one else there. It was a Hail Mary from the 2 in front. He basically dealt with it by himself. Honestly, 4AM was on another level this game, but 4AM as a whole really played that game out super smartly.
We haven't had a global finals in PUBG Mobile history where we haven't had a Chinese team in the conversation at the top. We've seen right now that 4AM wanted to correct that. They've pushed hard. They've got an 18 elimination game here, blank. They have managed to do so much, but it's not over yet. There's still more to do.
there's less position. Take shots at towards. Vampire Esports, what a rough time of it though. Running through all this, trying to take to them. Northeastern side. Alpha7 taking down their point system. It's not exactly the same. I think they have some slightly different rules when it comes to eliminations.
Favorite 7. They had only a single game in this tournament, but they did not get a single frag. Only one game. You expect that to...
And if they strike hard...
Thank you so much. We are into that final stretch. So are the teams. We are absolutely ready for it. Only time will tell what is going to happen because it is still all to play for.
It is still all to play for. There's so much on the line right now. Huge amount of prize pool, huge amount of prize money, huge amount of glory to be found during today as well. Day 3, 6 more matches. That's it done.
Going to be in first place after this match and then completely backfire.
But Nova. That's my point.
But Nova.
Nova and Miramar. It's pretty good.
Talk about a team that we just saw in a great position as well, that kind of just fell off. That in the late game is DRS, and I was expecting them to perform well today in Miramar as well.
I wouldn't really call it a fall off, to be honest, for DRS. As Black mentioned multiple times during that game, they are so good, so strong at clearing the edge. Like that 2-2 split, getting so much information. The moment they have one team, they know we need to clear out this team to gain even more space on the edge of the circle. Regroup, full send it. I think they cleared like 2 teams at one point relatively easily too. And I'm telling you, they are a silent team. Sure, maybe not a team to get chicken dinners, but they get enough points where they could be in first place.
I appreciated their passiveness at one point when Alpha7 was taking shots at them, and I think Alpha7 knocked one of their players. They decided to just back off a little bit more and let Alpha7 be aggressive towards somebody else. It worked out wonders for them. But that is Erangel. I mean, that's a team that has 2 wins in Erangel. I want to see what this team can do in Miramar, because just playing like that in Erangel is not going to be able to cut it for first place.
Talking about Miramar, let's look at some of the teams to watch from both our analysts. We'll have them. Actually, talking about teams to watch. Oh, there we have it. DRS on both of you guys' schedule. That's a superb, actually, transition, because we were just talking about them. Maybe going over to go like Starwood, though, because I felt like they had a good chance in the last game as well. Going over to Miramar, that's your pick?
Yeah, I still have the jersey. It's a little bit cold right now, so
is it still under there?
It's heating them up. It's heating me up right now. I do appreciate it, Stalwart. But yeah, I do think that Stalwart can be looking really good. They were looking really aggressive.
Yeah.
I think they've been a little bit too silent, and that was your question at the start of the show, right? Which is, can they potentially build that momentum on that 2nd and 3rd place ending day 2? And seemed like they were looking aggressive. Sure, not a podium finish in that game, but for me it shows that there were some changes that were made, and I did talk to also Senator. They did make iterations for today, and I'm happy to see it.
Yeah, I mean, Top was going absolutely ham in the last game. I think 5 or 6 eliminations on his own. Going over to U7, 4 AM is on your pick, and I mean, they just had a phenomenal game. You think that's going to continue into Miramar?
Yeah, I actually picked them way before they ended up winning
when
that
they already
last
had 9
When they were doing so well, I just controlled the other circle, and I think that's something that they're able to actually do really great in Miramar, that they have just gotten unlucky in certain situations. They got super blessed by that circle in Erangel. I want to see if they do end up getting blessed again, if they're going to be taking full advantage. I mean, to have 3 players over 1K damage, that just goes to show that they were being proactive, and I did pick DRS because of what I just said earlier. They perform really well in Erangel, but I want to see them perform really well in Miramar as well.
And especially seeing Svan get himself 7 eliminations on that game, I cannot tell you how good of a storyline that would be. MVP 2 years ago, loses the MVP title to Order, a brethren in the PEL, to reclaim it back over here in Jakarta, Indonesia, in this season of the Grand Finals.
100%. Talking about one of the teams that's also at the very top. They just had the first frag, but also went out as the very first team. S2G. Any thoughts about S2G coming up?
No. No, I think they just got caught with their pants down. I think it's kind of like a situation that happened. They were trying to go for River Cross. Wolves were there. I think even Stalwart third party that fight. So unfortunately, it was a smart rotation because it's always rough. As we know, when you have that phase 1, phase 2 circle, you've got that river in play. It's about a 50-50 split. It's always going to make it really rough to pull off those rotations. So I'm not going to hold it against them. They were already looking so comfortable at the start of the day. But just don't allow it to happen too often. Like, rivers are a big issue, so just be careful.
Going over to another team that's also at the very, well, not also at the very bottom, but it is at the very, very bottom, actually, is Vampire. They also, again, lost Swap X very early on. any hopeful
I'm not even going to let you finish that.
No?
They're absolutely done. Whatever changes they were trying to do yesterday is just not going to happen at this point. I think the team... what I expect out of them is at one point today we might see some madness, and I feel like it's going to be in the last game where this skill is going to come through, right? They're going to realize, you know what, at this point we got nothing to lose. We're definitely not even going to be able to make it to first place, top 3 or top 5. So let's try to get some highlights. Let's try to make ourselves look good here at PMGC Grand Finals in Jakarta.
I think what's happening, they already announced that we're going to be having PMWI back in Riyadh. They're already preparing for that one at this point. Okay, PMGC is done. Let's just look to try and be the back-to-back champions of PMWI, which would be a good achievement, but as you said, sit down, finals are done.
Yeah. I was very surprised none of you guys were talking about T2K going into the next match, because they also were in a, well, not all of them, but at least Legend had kind of a big moment there with this double nade, and I was expecting them especially to be very good today.
Yeah, they were one of my teams to watch actually, so I'm intrigued to see if they can do potentially more. Knowing the power, DRS looking good. Can we also see T2K being good? I'd love to see it.
Whether or not that is going to happen, the answer is...
live করতেছি রে বাবা what's for no
we are into, I think we're into, oh yeah, here we are. We are into Miramar for game number 2 on the day, match number 14. Only 5 matches remain now. What a game from 4 AM in that last one. That was a massive, massive jump to be able to leap on up, but the crowd's getting settled for the Miramar match. The first one of the day, the first of 2 that we'll see, and the rest is yet to come. Nova, they lost a player early in that last match and didn't really get going in that one. Inco as well, losing players early. They did manage to get up to 3rd though.
I mean, that's Inco in a nutshell, right? They were able to somehow find a way into those final circles, those final zones, still pick up some points here and there. Getting into our match very shortly though. So do a quick rundown. A little bit of stock checking. Crowd obviously really excited to be here. And I'm also really excited to be here just because of how amazing the crowd has been. Hello my friend, my AirPod buddy.
Look at that, get those selfies in. Fantastic. Everyone needs to take a record of when they were here, when 4 AM did
the
that.
only time when you're allowed to take a selfie by using the front camera. Taking a photo of the old screen. Honestly, this should be a good map though. And again, an awkward playing path over from El Pozo to Junkyard. Match 14, second match of our day. 3. Some of these players and teams starting to really bring up the heat just a little bit here, John. Starting to head towards that top side after 4 AM's actually glorious performance there on our previous map of Angle. That's going to see them nice and happy towards the top of the standings. A really good chance to bring out something more. S2G obviously not having the best of games there whatsoever for Angle. But yesterday it was Miramar where they picked up the vast majority of their points and where they played out very comfortably. So we'll see if they can do that again here on match 2. Now saying that it is that saving grace that you come to match 5, you are S2G, you have a really confident run to actually pick up a massive win at that point of the day.
DRS denied at the final turn. They had a pretty big game themselves as well in the previous game, so it is very much tenuous. I think at the moment there's 4 teams in the lead when you bring DRS into the fold, with Inco just that little bit ahead of everyone else. Alpha 7 though looking to try and take down a major competitor here for Angry Men with a bit of a challenge. Iron sights on this, not super easy to control, plenty of kick for Mythic and doesn't really land too many of those shots either. Blank, he will not be able to curtail 4 Angry Men early on this drop. The vehicles gained and in operation for 4 Angry Men.
Good stuff there. Central circle as well, so the playing path not as awkward as we maybe had hoped. It does mean that Los Higos, Minas del Sur, Playa de Mar, Chumacera, a little bit inaccessible, but Torre Armada, Campo Militar, Tierra Bronca, La Cobreria most likely will be taken up by some of these teams. That's a tongue twister and a half for myself. I didn't do any of those earlier because I can't do tongue twisters. Sadly, I can stay out of dodge of any dodgy words myself.
I've just got to sound really fast, that's the issue.
Yeah, that's fine. I don't have to do that. So
I know.
I just keep it nice and chill, nice and happy. I bring that saxophone vibe to the broadcast.
Irish wristwatch.
You bring the electric
Irish wristwatch.
cello to the broadcast.
Do you think? I reckon I could rock a cello.
Yeah, I think so.
Give me, 16, 17 years of practice. I'll let you know.
Give me 1 second on the saxophone, and I'm ready to go. Or the saxoboom.
Well, they do
I
say...
can do the saxoboom.
All right, Jack, calm down. They do say, though, music is more about what you don't play. So the fact that I've never played the cello up until now, I feel pretty much makes me a master, right?
Well, I think that, the best times when you cast is when you aren't talking.
That was so mean. That was so incredibly mean. And you smell. There you go.
There you go. Look, we've all got our faults.
Really poor personal hygiene, Blank.
What do you mean? This morning I was blasting on the old deodorant and aftershave. I feel like I'm a smell sensation.
That is not personal. Okay, that's not personal. That doesn't count as personal.
Yeah, that's all I use, though.
You've got to...
Right? That's what everyone does.
You haven't showered. Have you?
No, I absolutely have.
You are the most mucky boy.
It's a soak in the rain. Look, man, it's Miramar. There's not much water around here.
True.
What can I say?
These teams are certainly going to be thirsty for victory. There you go.
That is correct.
Inco still at the top, though. 10-point clear with 5 teams in that front-running section now. Godlike Stalwart.
Quite quickly.
To be fair, Godlike Stalwart did do fairly well in that previous game as well, with the fights they're able to take, launching themselves further up to boot. IHC, T2K, Nova, all the way even down to like Buradam and Wolves. I mean, they are not out of it fully, but it is getting towards that way.
Yeah.
বাইরে ভাই 4M কি লাভটা দিতে দেখছেন আর ইনকো ভাই একটা সিঙ্গেল প্লেয়ার দেখেন কিভাবে 10টা পয়েন্ট বাড়ায় নিয়েছে 25 ছিল একটা কিল পয়েন্ট আর হচ্ছে প্লেসমেন্ট পয়েন্টে প্রায় 11 পয়েন্ট নিয়ে গেছে অ্যামেজিং ভাই অ্যামেজিং গডলাইক কামব্যাক দিবে একটা চিকেন নিলে গডলাইক কামব্যাক হয়ে যাবে এখানে আইএসএ খুব কাছাকাছি টিটিকো কাছাকাছি আছে নোভাও সেম ওয়াচ পার্টি হইতেছে পিএমজিসির টুর্নামেন্টের। তোমার ফোনটা কো ওরে ভাই কি একটা নেট করলো পরে আলফা 7 এই ম্যাচটা কামব্যাক করতে এই ম্যাচ যদি ডাউন হয়ে যায় আলফা 7 এর হাত থেকে তাহলে কিন্তু একবারে পুরো আমরা খাবে। গডলাইক গাইস গডলাইক যদি এখান থেকে হচ্ছে একটা চিকেন মেরে দেয় তাহলে কিন্তু গডলাইক টপ 3 বা টপ 2 তে চলে যেতে পারবে, পসিবিলিটি আছে, দেখা যাক কি হয়। তবে এই পিএমজিসিতে ইন্ডিয়ান কোনো টিম নেই ঠিক আছে, কিন্তু ইন্ডিয়ান কিন্তু স্পন্সর আছে দুইটা টিমের ভিতরে, এস2জি হচ্ছে গডলাইক। ওরে ভাই কি জোন শিফট একবারে এই রে বুইরা দিয়ে দিয়েছে জোন। এস2জি আছে আইএসএ আছে জোনের ভিতরে।
আগে খুব করতাম, শিখাইছে একদিন অনেক সিনিয়র একটা লোক, নাম হচ্ছে ইরান লেখো
মাইক ইয়ে করে না লাইভে লাইভে ভিডিও স্ক্রিন ওয়াচ পার্টি হইতেছে না সব কিছু দেওয়াতে। হ্যাঁ এটা আবার আমি লাইভ দিছি ওয়াচ পার্টি, মানে ওটা ওয়াচ করতেছে, এটা ওয়াচ পার্টি অনেকে ইয়ে করতেছে এটাতে। দেখো এর উপরে দেখো দেখাই তোমার জিনিসটা পিএমজিসি ওয়াচ পার্টি দেখো কত ইউটিউবার করতেছে, বড় বড় ইউটিউবাররা। এই দেখো এই যে স্নেক্স গেমিং মর্টাল আর কতগুলাই করতেছে, সব ওয়াচ পার্টি খেলে না কিন্তু আর কিন্তু দেখে এই ওগো ছবিও আছে নামের পাশে দেখছো ওরা কেমনে ওয়াচ পার্টি দিতেছে। এই আর একটা ম্যাচ পরই হচ্ছে এই 12, 13, 14 নাম্বার, 15 নাম্বার এইগুলার চান্স খুবই কমে যাবে। তবে 10 থেকে এখনো পর্যন্ত কামব্যাক সম্ভব গাইস, দেখা যাক কি হয়। আমরা দেখতে থাকি, লাইক করতে থাকি। যদি জানতে পারে বুড়িরামের প্লেয়াররা আছে এখানে, পরে আমার একটা আছে তাহলে দেবো একবারে পুরা ভাই। ও না, এখানে আবার ব্যাক সাইডেও ফোরামের প্লেয়ার আছে, রাজ দিতে পারবে না ফোরামের উপরে। Oh my god, অ্যাকশন বিস্ট ভাই, বিস্ট অ্যাকশন। ও ভাই, অ্যাকশনের জন্য তো একটা লাইক হয়ে যায় ভাই, লাইক করে দেন।